G'day Bomber fans, we are back, footy is back, we've had our week off, felt more like a month to me, but we are again playing football, and as we get to the second half of the year, the run home, games like these are must-wins. Essendon against West Coast at Marvel Stadium, a huge opportunity for us to come out firing after our rest, big preview coming up, but before I get into it, I got to tell you guys what happened with the votes in our game against Carlton. It's been that long. Alrighty, votes, we agreed that Martin was best on ground, we agreed that Ridley and Durham weren't far behind, we just couldn't agree on the order they went in. Jai Menzies was also voted as the role player of the match, which are his first votes of the year. The overall tally has merit still very clear up the top. Caldwell and Durham are fighting for second. Martin and McGrath aren't far behind them. From there, it's a logjam. Ridley joins Mackay and Hind on 9, and Langford leads a bunch of players on 7 votes. Keep it up. Alrighty, Marvel Stadium, Sunday afternoon, graveyard time slot. Essendon up against West Coast for the second time this year already. We play the Eagles twice before we play 4 or 5 other teams at all. It's an interesting little fixture quirk we got. Anyway, it's top 4 up against bottom 4, playing at a ground we haven't lost on this year. They haven't beaten us in over 10 years at Marvel. Both teams are in very different spots. The Eagles are fighting for pride each week. Their season is done, but the fans are enjoying a newfound competitive edge with their team every now and then. And Essendon are fighting to stay cemented in the top 8. We have a tough run of games coming, so we can't afford to slip up here in a match we should be winning. So let's talk about the game. What should we be expecting from it? Well, luckily for us, we have already played the Eagles once this year, so it's not too hard to figure out how we should be beating them because we beat them a few rounds ago. They are a much improved team on last year. They've shown they have a competitive edge to them now, but they're still a very easy team to overpower and get control against. They are the worst possession holders in the comp. They average the least possessions per game and the 5th worst turnover per disposal ratio, meaning they don't get much of the ball, and when they do, they often turn it over to the opposition, and that's a stark difference to Essendon, who have the 2nd most average possessions in the comp and the 3rd best turnover to disposal ratio. You have 2 very different teams playing against each other, one that loves to control the footy and possess it at any opportunity, and another that are often on the back foot. And it's pretty clear to see how this game's going to play out because of this. We average the 3rd most inside 50s per game. They're the 3rd lowest. We're probably going to control the ball in our forward half, overwhelm them with entries, and really this game is going to come down to how well their defense manages to deal with our entries and how we overcome our forward half difficulties that have plagued us recently. Well, the Eagles do have some really prominent defensive figures still. They obviously aren't a great team anymore, but Barras and McGovern are great players, and at their best, they're still elite key backs. Duggan is experienced. There's some good players back of the ball, and luckily for them, we have been really poor the last few weeks, entering 50 and making the most of our chances when we get opportunities in there. We scored 70 points from 60 inside 50s last week. That is shocking. I hate that. And just 80 from a similar amount the week before. We have scored just 20 goals from almost 120 inside 50s in the last fortnight. I hate reading it. It's all well and good to get the ball inside 50 more than the other team, which will likely happen on Sunday. But if you can't do anything from those entries, it doesn't really matter. This is a great opportunity for us to rectify our issues going forward and gain confidence from this match, improve our chemistry and productivity in the forward line. We're most likely going to get close to 60 to inside 50s, 50 to 60 I would say. So if we can be effective with even half of those, it sets us up to get 25 to 30 scoring opportunities. We need to make sure we make the most of those opportunities and not allow McGovern or Barras to find themselves impacting in the air. The last thing we want are those two getting high intercept numbers and feeding their runners from the back half. Their forward line had some danger to it before the bye. Jake Waterman is one of the best forwards in the comp this year. Cripps and Darling have scored in patches as well, but we are set to see the return of Oscar Allen, arguably their best player, and that creates some headaches for us trying to plan to keep their forward line quiet. We don't know yet how they're going to all work together, whether or not he still allows Waterman to be that dangerous deep forward. It makes us defending the ground all the more important. They have good forwards who on their day can tear a game apart, so for us to win and hopefully win comfortably, we have to first limit the amount of action that they have going on inside there, which I think we should be able to do. I see us controlling the game, but we also have to be accountable one-on-one and not allow any individuals to gain enough confidence to tear the game open. Realistically, we shouldn't be conceding more than 70 or 80 points against this team at home, and if we do, it's because we are defensively lacking in both those areas. Nothing against West Coast. I think they're much improved, but at Marvel this season, they average under 35 points a game. They historically have played the ground okay, but have been shown how easy it can be to keep them out of the match on this particular oval in 2024. A big story throughout the day is going to be how well we avoid feeding the key pillars the ball, and that is McGovern and Barras, not our own key pillars. Our forward half footy has been really lacking in the last month or so, both when we're inside 50 and when we are creating chances going inside. We are so good at setting ourselves up to give us opportunities to create chances, but when we get to that last kick, it just falls down. We have the blaze away virus that we suffered from at times in 2023, and against two great intercepting defenders, it can only end badly. I can see either of those two having a big game against us, so we need to make sure we are actually smart going forward. And I know it's a bit of a cliche say, and it's easier said than done. It's really easy for us fans to tell professionals to be smart when finding a target inside 50, but even if we are just making it hard for their keybacks in the air, I think it goes a long way. We'll probably lock the ball in there quite a lot. We can't do it for nothing like we did against the Blues, though. We had 20 more inside 50s against Carlton, but lost by over 20 points. That tells you all you need to know. We are not scoring from our entries. We need to start doing so before our tough run of games, and now is the perfect time to start. We should talk about the midfield, though, because when I last did my Essendon West Coast review for the Optus Stadium match earlier in the year, I said that the Eagles have one of the most damaging engine rooms in the comp, but no depth inside there. Kelly, Yeo, and Reid are terrific, but after that, they don't have many options to roll through it and roll through it well. And the bad news for the Eagles is that they are going to be without Harley Reid, who is still suspended, and Tim Kelly, who is set to miss the week through an injury that kept him out of his last game. They have only played without those two once this season, a fortnight ago against North Melbourne, and they lost their clearance count by 18, a huge amount. They were belted by North, so there is the game right there. West Coast are going to struggle as it is to keep the ball out of their 50 in open play, but if we are also winning the midfield battle and getting territory from that, it has potential to be a belting. I'm hesitant saying that because we don't like to smash teams, but on paper, looking at the way this game could play out, even West Coast fans will be saying it's on the cards. We won the clearance count last time we played them when they had numbers in, so there are no excuses for us if we lose the midfield battle here on our home deck. I think we must win it and must win it comfortably, and if we do, then we probably win the game comfortably. I don't see how we could win the contested and uncontested game and lose the match, so realistically, most aspects of the game are pointing towards an Essendon victory. I think the biggest factor for this game is us, the Essendon Bombers, what Essendon side will show up. I've said it once before this year, when we are going up against an easy team, that only one team can win or lose this match, and it's the same here. There are a few teams down the bottom of the ladder that you shouldn't lose to, and West Coast at home is one of them. I think if they come out firing, we should still beat them if we are also at our best. The only way we lose this match is if we come out and play poor football. If we are playing well, we do not lose. I can't see us coming out on Monday and saying good effort after a loss. West Coast fans will agree. At Optus, it's a different story, but away from home with key players missing for them, we have to win this game. There are no excuses if we lose. I will be very unhappy if we lose, and you don't want to see an unhappy Felix throughout the week. We need to start scoring early, put them on the back foot, and do not give them a sniff. If they think they can win, they're going to do everything they can to win. So let's put that to bed early, take our chances, get a good lead by halftime, and put the foot on the throat from there. It's how we should win. Danger players, starting with them, Jake Waterman. I don't know how he's going to play with Oscar Allen in the team, but that is kind of the danger about it. He could be freed up to have more of an impact. Laverde or Kelly, whoever's on him, will need to be accountable. Jeremy McGovern, this guy could kill us in the air if we're poor going forward. He has done it to us before. And finally, a rogue shout, but Liam Ryan, he hasn't exactly torn the game apart like he did at times a few years back, but he is an X-Factor player, and if the Eagles want to win, they will need a spark from somewhere. So Liam Ryan. And for us, Zach Merritt, this is a big one because their midfield is missing two of its best players, Kelly and Reid. So Merritt is set for a monster game if he's up for it. Peter Wright, he loves it under the roof. The ball could be down his way a lot. I can see him having a big day. And another rogue shout, Archie Perkins. I feel like with their lack of midfield talent, he could step in and around the ground and really have an impact. He hasn't been amazing lately. I feel like he's set another breakout game, but let's get on to the team news. All right, there's a lot going on for both teams. For them, Harley Reid and Tim Kelly won't play. One is suspended, one is injured. It's looking like star forward Oscar Allen will return. Liam Duggan should be okay after his concussion, and Jaden Hunt should come back as well. Rotham could be an option to come in for an unforced change, but I think the team shouldn't be too different. As for us, there's a lot of good news. There are 5 players in the mix to return. Redmond, Durham, Redmond, Dersma, Hobbs, Setterfield, and Draper are all labelled tests, but not all will return through the AFL. Good luck predicting the team. Probably the hardest week to do so after a bye, with 5 players potentially coming in. My predicted team is on screen, but I have no clue what it's actually going to look like. I'm guessing Redmond, Setterfield, and maybe Dersma come in. Draper might be given another week, and Hobbs could come through the VFL. As for those who come out, Kelly for Redmond, Sartas for Dersma, that's my guess. I don't think they pull the trigger on Caddy for Jones just yet. He needs another big VFL game. I'm going to say it, guys. I have not gone into a game this year as confident as I am about this one. I'm more confident than what I was when we played North, and it's nothing against West Coast. I think they're a better side, but right now they just happen to be missing some important players to their structure. Obviously, confidence is a dangerous thing as an Essendon fan, though. It's never good to go into any game at ease, because that's when the club likes to let us down, but I think we win, and I think we win fairly well. I'm going to predict Essendon to win this match by 40 points. Hopefully, if I'm wrong, it's higher, because I don't want a stressful game after our stress-free bye. Let's just go out and get the job done. Leave your predictions down below, guys. But that is that. Feels like a while since I've actually done a preview. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. Get out to the game if you can. Fill up the seats, and also go Bombers.